Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back to Spartan Nation. We now bring in Spartan Nation longtime contributor, a legendary prep coach, and longtime contributor to Spartan Nation, a dear friend, the great Coach Chuck Grenier. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine today, doing fine.
Well, I'm glad that you are.
Yeah, no.
Coach, you join us each and every week throughout football and basketball. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, or the unsure. This week, there's going to be no unsure. It's going to be complete. I have to watch my language. It's going to be complete ugly. So let's start with the good. You've got a defense where the coach's objective is to make the offense one-dimensional. They are doing that. Yes, they're getting hurt with yards, but they're also down their top corners. They're playing a ton of backups. And, oh, by the way, in the fourth quarter where they're getting manhandled, it doesn't help that the offense is giving the other team short fields with turnovers and stupid mistakes. I think the defense is taking a beating here. That's unfair. I think the defense continues to be good.
Well, here's the deal that as I see it, and we've talked 100 times on this thing before about to keep the ball in front of you. You can allow the dink and dunk passes to take place, and you're just looking for mistakes. You stop them from running, and they're doing that exactly with this. You got to back. You're down to your third, fourth corner on the one side. So in the offense, again, the offense is affecting the defense because the offense can't ball control and take up time. So the defense is on the field more than they should be. They did make a bonehead penalty out there. That was a bonehead one. There's no doubt about that. But the defense, in my opinion, is playing pretty well. And I think in college football right now, when you don't have a lot of talent, a lot of these teams are going, you look at Indiana and Purdue and other teams like that, and they're going to the spread offense because you don't need the outstanding people to be playing in the spread. You need good receivers and a quarterback that can throw the ball, and you dink and duck. Now, our defense has played 5 teams in a row that run spread. You would think that there's got to be something in the defensive playbook that when we play spread teams, we can do some different coverages where we're more man up and we don't have all this zone where they're throwing to underneath zones, where they're throwing to these empty spots in the field and just dinking dunking us down the field on that. There's got to be something that's got to be changed over the course of time here. If we're going to play this many spread teams, that we've got to do something different past defense because, it's just in crucial times, like last Saturday again, they just go down the field and they just dink and dunk us and go down the field. So that's got to change too. But otherwise, your defense is playing out of their mind at most times. And Kerry Willis, I'm becoming a big, big fan of him. He is playing out of his skull right now. And Bocce and your interior linemen, I think there's got to be a little work with the outside backers yet. But, it's a good defense. But, offense has got to help them out. Get them off the field.
Well, it's like Deshaun Mallory. I mean, they've been able to not have to play him. And I know the plan was to play him coming into the year. But Naquan Jones and Gerald Owens and Mike Panashuk and Raekwon, their conditioning is so good. They're in such great shape and playing at such a high level, they haven't needed them.
No, they're nightmares on the inside, as a matter of fact. They are just playing out of their mind. Now, the only thing missing, other than maybe some different kind of pass coverages in these spread teams, is that end that's just going to wreak havoc, like a Calhoun, something along that line. But we just don't quite have that. But Willikets is playing well, and the other guys are making contributions. But the defense, there's no question the defense is playing well. We got to make some adjustments.
Unbelievable. All right, Coach. if you're looking for good on offense, Felton Davis, I mean, he's been good.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that in the past. Felton Davis, throw the ball in his area. Just throw it there. And it'll either be most likely incomplete or he's just going to Spider-Man that ball out of the air somewhere along the line. He makes fantastic catches all the time. Why you don't focus your game plan around him, I'm not sure. But
I got to tell you something. I was not aware of this until I was told by a player, and I have to go back and look. I guess Michigan State late in the game was down. I'm not guess. I know they were, but they had like a 3rd and 1, and they took Felton out of the game. They were down in the red zone. They were down in the red zone. Sense. And I'm told they put him back on the field for the 4th down play, but I'm told by one of the defensive players he came off the field and was screaming at the coaches about them taking him off the field.
Yeah. Well, I think looking back at this game, and I had a friend text me, and he said, this is like watching paint dry. And I said, well, I watch paint dry. I don't swear. But that's what I was during the game. I think you can kind of sum this game up and the play calling in a couple series. Or the end of the first quarter or beginning of the second quarter, I'm not quite sure on this one. We have got a 1st and 10 at the Northwestern 15-yard line.
Now, this is after Kari Willis's interception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I asked Dave Warner about this exact play call. Go ahead.
Yeah. And they decide that they're going to run option. Well, option has worked in the past. They set up and they run strength of formation to the right, to the short side of the field. They run option to the short side of the field, which gives them less room to run option and option people. They block it terribly. They have the tight end and the tackle blocking on the defensive end. They get no push. They get no edge seal on that one. He strings it out, and they end up losing yardage. Second play, they come out, again, strong to the short side of the field, run a jet sweep to the right side of the field, to the short side of the field. Amazing. I was looking at that, and it was just total disbelief. The second series, I think, that sums up this game. 4th quarter, we're late in the game. We got the ball down deep. I think it's the 3-yard line. They punt us down to the 3-yard line. First play they run, because we got to get down the field. First play they run is a pass to the tight end on an out pattern. It's a deflected pass. Dotson catches it, and we got 2nd and 1 down there. Next 2 plays are pass plays, in which we're somehow or another not getting a safety out of this. He's throwing at the feet of receivers as he's getting rushed on that one. And then the 4th play is a run play in a stack box. I think they had, if you go back and probably counted, they probably had 20 guys in the box. I'm not sure. But they tried to run in that ball game on that one. And I think those 2 plays, those 2 series right there, sum up the ineffectiveness of the play calling up there. Now, they can't base up and run at people. They can't do that. These players can't do that. If you look back at the Indiana game, Ladarius Jefferson gets his first touchdown as a Spartan. And look at what that play was, with him going into the end zone relatively free. The offensive line blocked away from where they're running. It was an off-guard type play. And the fullback kicked out on the linebacker, and Jefferson pretty much went in. So they created angles for the offensive linemen so that they didn't have to stud block those people out of the way, which they can't do. Another thing I'll complain about is the usage of players out of position and not giving them help. Now, I've singled out Higbee in the last couple times that we've talked, not because he's a bad player. He's a good player. He's an average to above average guard. He's not a tackle. And he's playing left tackle for them out there, which means that he's going to be matched up with the defensive end that has the most quicks. And last week, he was matched up against a very good defensive end that Northwestern has. And they're running medium to deep pass patterns with him at a left end with no help. No tight end, no H-back, nobody over there to help him. He cannot handle a good defensive end on that side by himself. And you see this over and over and over again. And I got to think, what are you thinking upstairs there? Can you not see in practice or anything that this guy cannot play that position? That's not what he's physically able to do. And, you watch this over and over again and you scratch your head and you think, these guys are professionals and they're supposed to be calling these plays. Another thing, am I rattling on too much?
Hold on, Coach. You got to stop. You wait. Let me just point something out to you. We haven't even got to the bad or the ugly. We're still in the good. We started with Felton Davis.
Yeah. Well, here, it just gets so frustrating watching this out here. It appears to me in that game, it appears to me all this year so far, they pulled the reins in on Lewerke and told him not to run the ball. Multiple opportunities for him to take off, and he's not doing that. So, I'm thinking going into this ball game, I got players out of position. I've got a mash unit for an offensive line. How could I make them better? And I'm thinking, what I would do? I would take and I would do rollout passes with Lewerke. If he's got legs that can help you get the ball going down the field, why not give him some opening? Why not give angles to your offensive linemen? Why don't you call some quarterback draws, backside screens, things along that line? There's just no creativity. Basically, what I look at when I watch Spartan offense up there, we run between the tackles, and that's what the heck we're going to do. You there?
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So it's just so frustrating. It doesn't have to be this way, but this is the way that it is. And you won 3 games by the skin of your teeth. You lost 2 games by the skin of your teeth, and it didn't have to be this way at all.
Listen, I'm going to say this right now, okay? This team should be 5-0.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt on that one. There shouldn't have, this team should be 5-0, and they're in the talent that they played against. Those games should not have been close. Not even close.
I agree.
There's so much more superior talent than the players that they have. But this is just ridiculous. I mean, special teams has picked it up. The defense has picked it up. The offense is laughable.
All right.
Laughable.
Let's go back and finish the good. Then we'll get to the bad and the ugly. The other good, again, on offense, the only good that I see right now is Felton Davis. And that's not a slam on the players. I don't think they've been put in a position to succeed. The other good has been special teams. I thought, all of a sudden you bring in a kid, Tyler Hunt, who's punting. I thought he was very good on Saturday. Matt Coughlin, enough said, he's terrific. Cole Hahn has been a genius at kickoffs. Again, special teams have been amazing.
Well, you bring a guy in that hasn't been your punter, and Blast went out there 63 yards. Yeah, I guess you got to say, special teams have been amazing. If they get down in close, Conklin is a sure to get 3 points out of that. I don't know why Conklin's in there to begin with. Why are you settling for 3 points when you're controlling the game? I don't know. But anyway, special teams, the return teams have been great too. Teams are not breaking anything on them. Yeah, it's special teams. There's no problem. That's got to be part of the good.
All right, now we go to the bad. Since we already hit on a lot of it, before we get to the ugly, is there anything else that's just bad you want to hit on?
I'm wondering, in crucial fourth quarter situation, why you're throwing a swing pass to your 4th string tailback. So, I could go on with some of this bad play calling, and it's not even a good swing pass. to talk about Lewerke. Lewerke, with the problems of the offensive line, with the problems that he has to work with play calling. And I know one of the things that was talked about coming out of fall camp was how he was improved so much on mechanics, on throwing. And because of the situation, because of the struggles on offense, I'm watching that game, and those mechanics are falling apart again. The interception he threw late in the game, if you get a video and you put Justin Verlander on there throwing a slider, it's the same thing. His feet are all spread apart. He's just throwing with arm now. That's why his accuracy and his consistency is so off right now. He's throwing with his arm. He's not getting his feet underneath him. He's not not getting his body in position to throw the ball. And basically, he's in Titanic mode.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, Coach. You have a great track record of success. You have a great track record of guys that went on and played in college. I'm going to ask you right now, point blank. When Brian's mechanics are so bad, is that on Brian trying to do too much, or is that on Brad Salem, the quarterback coach?
Let's go 50-50 on that. If I was Salem, I'd be talking about that, getting it under there. And if I was Lewerke, I would say I'm getting rushed all the time. And so I think you got to go 50-50 on that. And if Salem is the quarterback's coach and he's telling him you got to get your feet under you, got to do this, you got to do that, and Lewerke's thinking I'll try, but I'm just getting rid of the ball. I'm trying to find where people are open, and I know that one of the things when Narduzzi was here, and I remember him saying this when he would throw those linebackers and stunt the interior linemen and the defensive ends and all that stuff. And he would always, he was talking about that and what the effect of the defense had on quarterbacks, and it was eye level. And what he was doing was he was trying to make the quarterback, when he dropped back or he was trying to throw the ball, bring his eye level down to find out who's coming after me, who's going to be getting me. And I think Lewerke is experiencing a little bit of that. And so things, are like a snowball right now. They're going downhill and things are starting to fall apart. So if the game plans don't change, if you don't become more innovative, if you don't give better angles to your offensive linemen, if you don't do a number of things that you haven't done in the past because what you've done in the past is not working, it's not going to change. I mean, it's going to be a struggle every week, and you got some bad boys coming here pretty soon. So,
Coach, let's get into this. 3 questions that I have for you.
Right.
I asked Mark D'Antonio after the game. I said, when Brian's playing so poorly, is there any consideration? I mean, Saban pulls his starting quarterback for a true freshman in the national championship game of giving any of your backups reps. He said no. Your thoughts on that?
Wrong. Completely wrong. There's some things that he's doing out there that he needs to be disciplined on. Now, again, in this game, like the first game, he's about to get tackled and he throws the ball down, which could have been misinterpreted as a fumble again. And that was bad force the first time he did something like that. The quarterback is not above anybody else. If you're not playing well, sit down. And if you want to play better. And that's just the way it should be. It's that next man up mentality is for all 22 players, not just for 21. So sit him down. Give Rocky a chance. Now, I know what he doesn't want to do. I know he doesn't want to create a quarterback controversy. But by not playing him, doesn't he cause a controversy too?
Yep. All right. I want to go to the... Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to go to my next question. Dave Warner, you can go watch the video at Spartan Nation. Put the onus of this team on the players, and I have no problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is when coaches are paid millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars and you want to put it on kids. I don't know if you heard me, but I basically asked him, this is not a quote, wait a minute, are you saying that you and your play calling have nothing to do with this? Your thoughts about my question, was I unfair? And his answer.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I've heard this from both him and D'Antonio. If the players are on the field, they should be able to perform. Crap. That's all I got to say. Take Dave Warner and put him in a room with a bunch of physicists. If he's in the room with the physicists, should he be able to do that kind of stuff? No. If you're going to be blaming your players, you've just created a real bad problem. Now, if those football players heard that, his credibility to him is gone. We're in this together. We're making mistakes together. We're going to try to work it out. No. They're not executing. They're not doing what they should be doing. Well, can they do it? Number one, and if you watch the football games, they can't do what they're doing. I wrote on the board there during the course of the game, good players overcome poor coaching. Poor coaches cannot overcome good players being injured. And I think that's where we're at with Michigan State football right now.
Coach Chuck Grenier is with us right now. Coach, again, I want to stay on this point. I want to hammer this point. I don't want this point to go anywhere because I think it's an important point. But this Michigan State team right now, I said in my pregame scouting report and prediction, which I'm sure that you read, I said we're either going to find out this team is everything we thought they were or not. And that Saturday's game was going to tell us. And I think if what I wrote it, and if I believe it, and I do, if Michigan State changes this week, then shame on them because they should have done it before because they just lost their season. Now, can they still go to a bowl game? Yes, but this team isn't about bowl games. They're the ones that came in with a top 5 ranking. They're the ones that talked about the college football playoff and getting back into the Big Ten, winning the race. That was their expectations. If they change now and all of a sudden go on a hot streak, shame on them that it took crisis mode to do it, right or wrong?
Oh, no, you're exactly right on this. They've got so many issues on the offense right now that it's a shame that you haven't changed earlier. It's just crazy because right now they've got 4 tailbacks that they run during the course of the game. None of them can block. So why are you putting those guys in position to block? Change. You've got to change. Your playbook is big enough that there's stuff in there that you can go to and be effective as an offense against these teams, and you don't do it. I think during the course of the game, when they ran the reverse for the touchdown, shortly after they ran the other reverse, I thought this was a great play, not because they scored a touchdown, which was great, but this was a great play because it was innovative, it was creative, it was out of the ordinary. It took Northwestern totally by surprise. It created angles. That was a great play. But, then we go back to run it up the middle. So I know in this game also they were trying to get the tight ends more involved. And what that did is it became a glaring observation of the tight ends are just not very good. They have difficulty catching the ball. They have difficulty blocking, and so you got to change. Does it have to be a standard type tight end in there? Doesn't have to be. You could put some wide receiver. I remember Iowa a few years ago, they didn't really have the Big Ten type tight ends, so they stood up 2 guys and flexed them another split to the outside. It created difficulties that way. Creative is the word.
Coach, we're up against the break,
Okay.
And I got 1 minute left. I got to ask you this last question because I think it's an important one, and I think it's a germane one. Tyler Higbee, I wrote this, you may remember, right after spring ball. I didn't like the experiment of him at center. He is a guard. Right. He's a good player. Yes. He's not a left tackle. When they're sitting there with multiple guys that they recruited to play tackle who are not injured and not playing, does that fall on coaching for recruiting mistakes, or does it fall on coaching for not developing guys, or is that all on the players?
Well, they've made not to besmirch a lot of these kids.
Yeah, let's not use Let's not use names. Let's just talk about it in general.
Yeah. They've made a number of mistakes of giving scholarships to kids that really should not have got it. You know, they just weren't that caliber. They've run into a few cases where kids have come from been walk-ons and did a Conklin.
5 seconds, Coach.
Okay, yeah, it's just a problem. Why are you saving their red shirt when you need help right now?
And there are guys that are not red shirts who aren't playing. Thanks. We'll be back, Coach Grenier. We'll be back, Coach Grenier. We'll be back, Coach Grenier. We'll be